Okay, example 3. Solve negative 35x equals negative 2x squared minus x cubed. So again, I'm looking at powers bigger than 1. It's a polynomial function. I want to set it equal to 0, and I want my highest power term positive. Right now, there's my highest power term. It's negative. So moving everything over to the left is the best plan. So I'm going to get negative x cubed plus, oh sorry, negative x cubed. Dang it. Positive x cubed. Positive x cubed, so I move to the left, plus 2x squared, and then minus 35x equals 0. So looking at the objects that move, these two guys moved, they both became positive. This stayed on the left-hand side where it was, it stayed negative. Equals 0 is now right on the right-hand side. Every polynomial function you get, power bigger than 1, that's what you want to do first. Everything in descending order equal to 0. Then you look to factor any way, shape, or form you can. If you have a bigger power than 2, chances are there's a common factor because you don't know how to factor anything beyond the second power at this point. So, x, we take an x out. That's going to leave it x squared plus 2x minus 35. And then if I continue into factoring, now we have a quadratic trinomial here, just like the last problem was, right? So this part factors the same way as normal. A positive 7 and a negative 5 are the magic numbers that multiply to make the negative 35. 7 minus 5 also adds to make the positive 2. We're going to put x's on both of those. Alright? And that gets me to x times x plus 7 times x minus 5 equals 0. At this point, I have factored form, everything to the first power. X to the first power, x to the first power, x to the first power. You want to get to that point every time. X to the first power and everything. Factor number 1, factor number 2, factor number 3, all contain the letter x, right? So all three of those factors will create an answer. So I take each of those individual factors. X has to equal 0, x plus 7 has to equal 0, or x minus 5 has to equal 0. And that leaves me with, of course, x equals 0 is one of the answers. Move the 7 over, you're going to get x equals negative 7. We move the negative 5 over, becomes positive, x equals positive 5. Those are my answers. X equals 0, negative 7, positive 5. Okay. One extra thing I want to caution you about is this. Because it's going to happen, and every year I give this dire warning to people every year, and I do this a lot. I tell people this thing, and then 60% of you are going to do it anyway. I hope that it's one of these times everybody listen to me, but I promise you this is going to happen to somebody in this classroom on a homework assignment the next week, if you don't pay close extra attention to this. Let's say I get to this point here, this factored form, and let's just say it's something crazy like this. 2 times x minus 4 times x plus 1 equals 0. Let's say I get to that point. So instead of having a common factor of x, like this one had, I've got a common factor of 2. So the original problem was 2x squared minus 3x, no, minus 6x. Minus 6x minus 8 equals 0. All right, that's what it started off as. And then I took a 2 out, which gave me x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0, because we know how to factor when it's x squared, right? And then x squared minus 3x minus 4, of course, is x minus 4 times x plus 1, right? We get to this point, and they look very similar, right? All right. What I want you to see, and what I want you to really focus on is this. I'm going to say these words very clearly, and if you misunderstand any vocabulary, let me know. First of all, we all know what factors are, right? They're the pieces that are being multiplied. In this case, 2 and x minus 4 and x plus 1 are all factors, right? Okay. And we all know what variables are, right? Those are letters, right? So listen close to this rule. If a factor contains a variable, it creates an answer. If a factor contains a variable, it creates an answer. Does 2 contain a variable?
No.
That creates no answer. Scribble instead of put an X there. Scribble it out. If you have a numerical factor, it's helpful in factoring. It's a lot easier to factor this than it is to factor that, right? It was necessary to do that. It was helpful. But a numerical factor does not create an answer. This creates an answer of x equals 4. This one creates an answer of x equals negative 1 because they both contain a variable. Okay? This original problem has a highest power of 2, right? The number of answers should equal the highest power. Highest power of 2, 2 answers. Highest power of 3, 3 answers. All right? Sometimes the answers are the same answer, x equals 1 and 1. That's still 2 answers. All right? In this case, they equal two different numbers. But again, if you have a numerical factor, it does not create an answer. Please do not put x equals 0 as one of the answers to this problem. I see it all the time. Don't be that person. Okay. When you are that person, I'll have an individual talk with you to make sure you understand. Because, again, somebody's going to do it anyway. I do this every year. 3 or 4 people do it every year. They put 0 in these, so I don't know. So if you happen to be one of those people that does it this year, I'll have a chat with you and make sure that you understand why it's not. Hopefully you won't make the mistake more than once.